Hello, universe. Welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Summers McKay.
And I'm Kristy Jansen, and we're part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and help you make the direction of your day be one that's focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, piddle-around-the-garden-worthy podcast. Today is Thursday, the 8th of October, 2020. Kristy, I have a confession.
I would like to hear it.
I have not been in the ocean.
What? What?
I know. So on Tuesday, when it was mandated, I got so busy in meetings that it never happened. And then on Wednesday, when I was going to make good really fast, and I was super glad you didn't ask about it on the podcast, it was freezing in the morning when I did have time, and then the day came and went. And then this morning, my husband actually took the baby super early, they were out the door at 8:02, which is crazy. And instead I gardened for 40 minutes. So I don't know, I'm having a really hard time committing to just running down and jumping in the ocean. And I know that it would be probably the most refreshing thing, but I haven't been in yet. And I just didn't want to mislead you, but I'm going to try.
Well, I appreciate your transparency. I am glad you've got some dirt under your fingernails. That is very grounding. That's a good alternative. But I just want to recommend getting into the invigorating cold water of the Pacific Ocean. Even if you feel like it's too cold, you'll just feel great. You really, really will.
I think I'm going to have to ask you guys to let me out of one of our staff meetings or something, because finding the time. But today I think it probably can happen. And
do it on the weekend and take Brennan with you and just give her a good dunk too.
So here's the thing. This weekend I will be going to the ocean, actually. But I will be going to a bay when we go visit my parents' house. So we will be in the ocean, but there is something kind of different about it a little bit, I think, than jumping into this very aggressive crashing ocean without the baby, which is part of what I really want to do, right? I just want to be in this super aggressive ocean without the baby and not worrying about her safety, but instead just tumbling mermaid style about. So yes, and what confessions do you have this morning on the Optimist Daily Update before we inspire people?
Can I tell them how you're helping me with my set design for...
Yes. We called Amelia a little late today. Why did we do that?
Well, tomorrow is our webinar, and I'm going to be moderating it with Dr. Lisa Van Susteren and Stacey Colino, and we've been working on putting this really fantastic team of women in front of you guys, talk about emotional inflammation. I'm looking forward to this very much, but since I will be the one who's introducing them and communicating with them on screen, I wanted to make sure that my home office, which I share with my bedroom, doesn't necessarily look like a bedroom. So Summers was helping me with her set design skills that she gained as a television producer back in the day to sort of, trick the eye. And it was pretty fun.
We were moving plants around, and boy, oh boy, does Kristy have houseplants, guys. If you are a houseplant fan, Kristy's in your tribe, and you can see some glorious houseplants on display tomorrow during the Emotional Inflammation webinar. And at any moment, if you feel emotionally inflamed, turn around and hug a plant, talk to a plant, put dirt under your fingers, things like that.
Speaking of bioengineering.
Yeah. We've got some fun stuff today.
We do. The article that I wanted to focus on, I think Summers are going to have a one in a similar vein. The headline reads, "This brand grows its carbon negative packaging from mycelium." So this is a design story. It's also an environmental story and potentially maybe even a business story, because it's about the French brand Amen, who is now shipping their candles in carbon negative packaging that's made from mycelium and agricultural waste. Again, I love this because it's taking waste and repurposing it and turning it into a useful product. Amen is already a sustainable luxury brand that they use natural wax from vegetable oil making candles as opposed to animal byproducts. And so they are all about sustainability. They're all about natural products. And now what they're doing is moving away from plastic packaging and cardboard packaging. And they're actually doing something really interesting together with a biotechnology startup called Grown. They are growing their packaging. It's cylindrical boxes made from mycelium, which is the vegetative part of mushrooms and the fungi world. A mycelium is a tremendous potential product that is really getting a lot of attention lately. Basically, what they do is they grow the boxes. They take 7 days, which involves mixing the mycelium with agricultural waste, such as hemp, and placing it into a mold. And then it spends about 5 days growing. And then after that, they remove it from the mold and dehydrate the material to keep it from expanding further or continuing to grow. And what they're left with is a solid, actual designed cylindrical packaging that captures carbon from the environment as it's produced instead of making more carbon and spewing fumes into the air. So anyway, I just think this is fantastic. It's a symbol of what they're calling the mycelium revolution, which uses biomaterials. We've featured things about this on the Optimist Daily in the past. Last month, we wrote about the living cocoon, which is a coffin made out of mycelium. It helps the body actually decompose in a biosustainable way as a dead body. It removes the toxic substances from the earth. I know we were talking about a lot about body processes lately.
Mama poop for babies.
And
yes, I
get products, death, whatever. But, tapping into the way that biology, bioadaptation, and the relationship between synthetic biology and lifestyle products and this emerging products market is super exciting. We've also written in the past about Eben Bayer, who's the CEO and co-founder of Evocative, which is another biomaterials company like Grown. And there's I think this sort of synthetic biology or materials design and materials creation that's using natural biological processes and hacking into that world to create new products is very, very exciting, whether it's getting rid of plastics, focusing on plant-based foods, plant-based packaging materials, or even scaffolding for growing like organs, for example.
Right.
Mycelium has the ability to serve as a medium for all of these different interesting uses. And I'm very excited about the whole industry paying close attention to this because we love mushrooms.
We do. We love mushrooms. We are shrooming on the podcast today. That doesn't mean what you think it means. But it's great because the story that I am talking about is also about our favorite fungus. The headline reads, Adidas and Stella McCartney to sell products made of fungus leather by 2021. Actually, I think I saw yesterday that Nordstrom on the Optimist Daily, I think, announced that they would no longer be selling furs or exotic animal-based products at all. So I was very excited to see that as well. And what I love about this story is that smaller retailers have been looking at different ways to do this for a while, using fungi to replace animal-derived leather, which is both more eco-friendly and cost-effective. Now, giant retailers are joining forces, and as goes the big guys, so goes the industry. Adidas, Stella McCartney, and Lululemon are some of the most prominent brands that have recently announced their intention to bring mushroom leather into their products as soon as next year. There is an organization, a company called Bolt Threads, which began developing this vegan leather-like material called Milo, which, again, good old mycelium, is a fiber derived from the mycelium. And the collective effort from these brands is welcome because it will enable this startup to scale its impact significantly. Fashion is without question one of the most polluting sectors in the world. Both the manufacture and waste that comes from fashion is huge. And growing this material offsets that environmental impact. Basically, how this works is that Bolt grows the mycelium over a bed of sawdust for 10 days. The resulting product is then tan, dyed, and finished just like leather. And it's faster and greener than traditional leather production, and no animals die. So there you go. Milo-made products from Adidas sneakers to Stella McCartney should be hitting the stores in 2021. And yay, mushrooms.
So here we go. The mycelium revolution strikes again.
We're adding to this list, right? We've got the drones, robots, fungus, And the future is here. It's good.
The future's here. I mean, but it's exciting because this is how we're going to move away from a petroleum-based economy. There's so many alternatives that just need to be explored and developed and invested in.
Yeah.
We have the technology, we have the know-how, we have the ability. We just have to be willing to let go of old ideas and move into the future.
Exactly.
Even though that's scary. I know that's really scary for people.
Okay, so moving completely on to what other headlines have us kind of inspired today, Kristy? We've got 8 other great headlines on the Optimist Daily today.
We do.
And there was one you wanted to talk about too.
There's actually several, but a couple of the highlights. There is an article about 3 lifestyle hacks that can help you become a little happier. It's always good to reevaluate your personal habits and think about how happiness can be a choice and not just accepting the world as negative as it is, or as it's portrayed to be, right? And things you can do to hack your sleep and hack your diet and hack your mental state. Speaking of other materials, Levi's is launching a marketplace for old jeans.
I love this one.
Me
I'm
too.
so excited because this is, once again, it's fashion recognizing they can't just be polluters. They got to do something different.
Right. And it's interesting, the whole circular economy embrace of that in clothing and also in furniture. I've been reading other articles about how just secondhand furniture is really a viable marketplace right now, secondhand clothes. And if you think about the fibers that go into making your denim jeans, those are very useful and you can recycle them and they can get repurposed into new things or even repaired and resold. And I'm a big fan of secondhand clothing and secondhand shopping in general.
I am too. And the next story is, I couldn't talk about it again because Amelia and I got super into Fat Bear Week last week, but the votes are in. Meet the big winner of this year's Fat Bear Week. Guys, if you haven't been to the Fat Bear Week site, please go. I go every morning and it makes me feel so good because they're just these portly, enormous, darling bears. And it's like, oh my gosh, there's one like Mama Bear had such junk in the trunk. I loved it.
It's the antithesis to body shaming, right? Is Fat Bear Week.
Exactly. It's perfect. And then there's one about chronic pain being difficult to treat. Both yoga and meditation can offer release.
And then breath test that is detecting 80% of cancer cases in first trials. I love these non-invasive diagnostic techniques that are being developed. And this is a really interesting story about some scientists in Australia that are using a breath test for head and neck cancer detection. And that's very promising research there. There's an ambitious reforestation project that is planning to plant 3 million trees in Uganda. Again, this is one of the One Tree Planted, and Jane Goodall Institute is behind that. I love Jane Goodall. She's one of my idols. Researchers say that sustainable food of the future lies under the sea. And this is, of course, about seaweed and algae. And those are 2 very, very sustainable alternatives to land-based foods. And it definitely might be important in the future of food. And Starbucks is offering their employees free rides to polling places in an effort to help get out the vote. And we are totally in support of helping people get to the polls, whatever that means.
Whatever that means, know that mail-in voting is secure as well. If you are doing that, I have my ballot. I worked with my 18-year-old on his ballot yesterday to help him vote for the first time in a federal election. And guys, get out and vote. Your voice matters. Let's do this. Let's make our voices matter and help our world be a better place. Should we wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up. Yes. So thank you, everybody, for listening today to the Optimist Daily Update, and every day that you do listen. We really value our audience, and I'm just sending gratitude to all of our listeners and to you, Summers and Amelia, and the rest of the Optimist Daily team. We promise to continue to share positive, solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in this changing world and ensure it is changed for the good. We promise to cover current events with accuracy, legitimate sources, and offer you information that's needed most to chart new paths for all of us.
Please consider becoming an emissary on theoptimistdaily.com, and for just $5 a month, support reader-funded independent journalism. Be part of the solution, changing consciousness and addressing our world's biggest challenges with a problem-solving mindset. Everybody, please, please, please help us keep the Optimist Daily free for all who need it and supported by those who can. Have a fabulous Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow. TGIF.
Talk to you Friday. Bye.